Like the old Tracy Lawrence song says, time marches on. We are here with another update after yet another Packers training camp day. Still so excited that the offseason's over and we could talk about Packers football every single day right here on the channel. If you guys haven't joined us yet, I implore you to subscribe today because I need your help. I've got a goal. I like setting goals. That's kind of who I am. Like to put things on the checklist, check them off once they happen. My goal is 10,000 subs by week 1 of the NFL season. We're currently sitting at 8,601, so we're 1,399 away from 10K. If you haven't joined us yet, today's the perfect day to do so as we chip away to get to 10,000 subscribers. Reminder, we've only been a channel since the end of January. We've grown this much over the last, 6 months? And it's been because of you guys, the fans. So if you haven't joined us yet, today's the perfect day to do so. Hit that big red sub button down below for free daily Packers coverage. We got a lot of major news items to get to from today's camp. A lot of good news and some bad news as well on the injury front. We're going to start with the good news, though, okay? Because Elgton Jenkins is back. And yes, it's a little bit of a play on word because he was dealing with a back injury, but he is back and out there on the practice field with his fellow teammates. Rob Demovsky tweeted this out when Matt LaFleur spoke to the media this morning. Matt LaFleur said Elgton Jenkins is coming off the non-football injury list today and will do some individual work to ramp up. And I'm not going to lie to you. You can even look back to last Wednesday's video on their first training camp day. When it was announced that he was dealing with a back injury and was going to be out, I was a little bit skeptical of that. Just because of the contract stuff that's gone on with Elgton Jenkins and the Packers over the last, 3 or 4 months since they asked him to make that inside move to center. I thought he was probably going to hold out, just kind of how he'd been doing during mandatory minicamp. However, he's back. He's out there. He's practicing, and I think that is phenomenal for this offense and for this offensive line. The walkthrough offensive line was Quay Walker, Aaron Banks, ElSean Jenkins at center, Sean Ryan at that right guard spot, and Zach Tom at that right tackle position. Finally done with the offensive line drama, which is so funny that the offensive line room, honestly, over the course of the offseason, was probably the group that had the most drama. Maybe cornerback room with Jair Alexander, but you had Zach Tom seeking to get a new extension. ElSean Jenkins holding out for minicamp because of everything that happened with the position change. And then, of course, you had Anthony Belton not signing that second-round contract, as pretty much every other second-round pick waited to do until like a week and a half ago. I'm glad that it's all over now. This is the best position group, in my opinion, okay? And you can see Jenkins right there out at that center position. Jordan Love taking a snap from him. If all these guys can stay healthy through the entirety of the season, I'm so excited to see what this team can do in the run game and what Jordan Love will be able to do with all that time in the backfield, okay? I feel really confident about this group, and now that ElSean Jenkins is there, he's healthy, and he's practicing, that makes me even feel more confident. What do you think is the strongest position group for Green Bay? I think it's the offensive line. You might have a different take than me. You let me know yours in the comment section down below. Now to the bad news. Let's talk about MarShawn Lloyd. Is he injured again? He took a pretty big hit today in 11-on-11, hobbles off with the trainers, takes off his helmet after taking a hit. Now, here Aaron Nagler says who hit him. Nate Hobbs goes low on Lloyd on outside pitch. Good stick. But definitely not what you like to see in practice. Tom gets in Hobbs' face a little bit. Love that. A little bit of jawing. Never hurt nobody. Lloyd is limping as he gets up with the training staff. Now, Nate Hobbs, I really do love the aggression, but it's the first day of pads, and I think Matt LaFleur kind of made it obvious in his opening press conference. Like, he wants these guys to hit, but he wants them to be smart about it. He didn't really want anybody to leave their feet on day 1 of the pads. Now, again, don't hear me incorrectly. I love what Nate Hobbs is doing. I love the aggression that he's playing with. I just, think there's a time and place for that. And maybe day 1 against a guy who's been injured through the entirety of his career since he got drafted by Green Bay might not be the place for it. We all know what MarShawn Lloyd has dealt with. Hip injury last year in training camp. Preseason, hamstring injury. Week 1, sprained ankle. Week 10, he had appendicitis right when he was going to come back. He was absent pretty much for the entirety of his rookie year. This is also after dealing with an ACL tear in college as well. Now, the good news from the bad news is that he was still on the field. Now, he didn't have his helmet. He was just watching from behind the huddle. But if it was something really serious, in my opinion, he would have been getting x-rayed. They would have had him off the field. He would have been with the trainers in the locker room, okay? And so, sure, he got injured. You don't love that fact, but I think some signs are pointing to he's going to be just okay because he stayed out there on the practice field. Show some love for him in the comment section down below. Spam those 32s in the comment section right now. If you want to get back as soon as possible, you'll do that. Let's talk our third little bit of injury notes, okay? Lots of injury updates from today's practice. Savion Williams looks like he is a full go. Matt Schneidman tweeted out he's doing 11 on 11. Not just doing it, but he's doing it with the ones, okay? Which makes me really, really happy. The offense gets some good looks downfield early. Savion Williams wide open downfield, and Willis finds him for a good pickup. I'm glad to see that the injury wasn't anything crazy serious. It came out on Friday. Matt LaFleur spoke early and said, he's not going to practice. Didn't really disclose why. And then later during practice came out it was because of a concussion. Well, now we're up to Monday. He's fully practicing, doesn't even have the red non-contact jersey on, and he's finding himself wide open a lot with Malik Willis hitting him. I think that Savion Williams has the highest ceiling of any wide receiver. I think he's that special. His height, his speed, his ability to make defenders miss. Of any wide receiver on this roster, he has the highest ceiling. Maybe him and Matthew Golden similar, but you can't teach half of the things that Savion Williams has. If he can just stay healthy, if he can work on catching the ball, getting rid of those drops that he struggled with in his final year of college, he's going to be somebody incredibly special. Are you a believer in Savion Williams? Just like me. If you are, show me by liking today's video. And if you're not, tell me why in the comment section down below. Sticking with the injury front, Quay Walker seems to be ramping things back up. He did individual drills today, saw him hitting a sled a couple of times, and he also competed in 7-on-7. Now, they're still waiting to get him in on those team drills because of that ankle surgery that he had. So they're kind of slowly making his way to get back. I'm sure maybe by the end of the week, he'll be participating in team drills. But we all know how they feel about Quay Walker because they've told us time and time and time again. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option, but they still believe that he is a part of this team going forward. And he had that ankle surgery, missed the first week of training camp again, slowly making his way back, getting more and more reps, getting more and more familiar. But I love the fact that they're not rushing him back. Keep him, I don't want to say on the sideline, but keep it a steady get back, okay? Don't rush things. Don't hurt him any more than he already was because him next to Edgerrin Cooper in that linebacker spot, that's a duo that I really, really like. To wrap things up, we're talking physicality, okay? And it is here. Not just with Nate Hobbs and his hit against MarShawn Lloyd. It seems like everybody's hitting, okay? And Andy Herman replied to somebody on Twitter who didn't like his stance of the Nate Hobbs hit, and he said, I beg you to know what the hell you're talking about before tweeting. The practice today is physical as hell in a good way. You can legit hear the physicality. Intensity is through the roof. It's been awesome so far. Hobbs crossed the line. They are rightfully sitting him. That's setting the right culture, okay? And Matt LaFleur has been knocked for the lack of physicality of Green Bay Packers teams over the past couple of years. And I think that's something that every single offensive-minded head coach probably deals with at some point. They're just automatically going to be branded as a guy who isn't as physical as, say, a defensive-minded head coach. But we've heard that. Those criticisms against Matt LaFleur over the last couple of seasons. It seems like it's different this year. And maybe it's the addition of Nate Hobbs. And sure, some people think he was out of line today with the hit on MarShawn Lloyd, but he's been really aggressive throughout all of camp. Sometimes it just takes one guy to say, you know what? Screw this. We're going to be the most physical team in football this year. And I'm going to be the bell cow of it all. Usually that guy's not a cornerback, but if it is, great. All the more applause to that guy. It just feels like after a week of training camp, after 5 days of training camp, this team is hitting. And they're really, really physical. And all that bodes well, my opinion, to physicality once the season fully rolls around. Thank you so much for watching today's show. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You can find me on both of those platforms at Joey Petersen. The links to those will be in the comment section down below and description of today's video. Again, I need your help. 10,000 subscribers, that's my goal. Week 1 of the season. 1,399 to go. I need you guys to help me out. So if you have not yet, join us today for free daily coverage on anything you could ever dream of for your Green Bay Packers.